first down. They hand off to Marlon Mack. Huge hole, 50-yard line. He's at the 40, still going near sideline. He's at the 10. He's at the 5, and he will score. Touchdown, Marlon Mack. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard. Leonard with his second INT, and he's streaking down the near sideline. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's going to go. A pick six for the Maniac.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to the Bring the Juice Colts podcast. I'm bringing you guys another edition of the Hold Your Horses segment. We did this a little bit last year at the beginning of the year where I basically dived into a bunch of Colts games or a bunch of Colts-related topics and called out some people for very irrational and idiotic statements that people are making. So, guys, let's talk about this real quick, okay? The Colts lost week 1 against Jacksonville, and we obviously all are very upset about that, okay? Everyone was upset about it. I was upset by it. Cody was upset by it. The local media was upset by it. And I'm sure the players are very upset about it as well, okay? It's perfectly fine to be upset and to hear criticism because obviously that the season should not have started that way. Everyone was like that yesterday. It's fine. And it's okay to give critique. I think it's perfectly fine for people to say certain things of questioning, why did we get away from the run? Why did Phillip Rivers throw those passes? Where was the defense? It's perfectly okay to do that because we saw what the players did and we just weren't happy about it. It's fine to say those things. But guys, some of the irrational things that you guys were saying on social media is just ridiculous, guys. I mean, I'm about to break this down for you, but let me just say this first thing before we even get started. Anyone that came out yesterday and said the Colts need to tank for Trevor Lawrence, I really hope you're joking. I really hope you're joking because if you're not joking, that is straight dumb. Okay, that is straight dumb. That is funny. Just how idiotic that is. That the Colts need to tank. Okay, chill out. Okay, because listen, it's week 1. We have gone the last 7 seasons without winning a opening season game. How many times have we made the playoffs in that stretch? We've made the playoffs 5 times. Okay? 4 times, actually. 4 times in the last 7 years making the playoffs, and we still have lost week 1. Okay? And let me just remind you of a couple games yesterday, guys, that didn't go well for a lot of teams. The Philadelphia Eagles lost to Washington. Okay, granted, they had some injuries. They had a lot of injuries, actually. But Philadelphia still was a pretty well-coached team. They still had the better quarterback. They still had the better team overall, in my opinion. But yet they lost. They lost on the road to Washington. Washington, of all things. Okay, and Ron Rivera, give credit to Ron Rivera. I mean, he had to get an IV done at halftime. He had a planned IV because he's dealing with cancer. So he was obviously not feeling well, but that team still rallied around him. And they beat him. They beat him after being down, I think it was 17-7 in like the third quarter or something. And Washington just snapped it. It was done for after that. So are the Eagles giving up on the season? Are they done? Are they saying Carson Wentz needs to be thrown away and needs to be thrown out and Doug Peterson's the worst coach ever? No. They just lost. It was a bad game. You come back and you do it again. And not to mention the Cardinals and the 49ers yesterday. The 49ers were at home and they got beat by the Cardinals who have so many new faces on that team, man. And I would probably say that the 49ers are more well-coached. They still have the better defensive line, but yet they lost. Guys, certain week ones happen, okay? Certain week ones, you just aren't ready. They just aren't ready to go yet. There was no preseason. Training camp was all messed up. Not as much time to spend in the locker room with the guys. Okay, I understand that every team had that issue, but not every team does well to start the season. Okay? All of this came down to execution. It was just execution flaws. That's all it was. From the coaching staff all the way down to the players. And there's so many different things that we can mention. I can talk about them now. But first, let's talk real quick. Before I even get to the main topic of hold your horses here, let's quickly get into some other things. Offensive line didn't run block very well yesterday, okay? They did not run block very well. That 4th and 1 down inside the 5, Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly got beat. It doesn't happen very often, but they got beat. Okay? It happens. It happens sometimes. I'm sure they're going to look at it in film tomorrow, and they're going to be like, okay, yeah, we got to fix that. That's got to get fixed right now. Okay, that works. Offensive line didn't do very great. T.Y. Hilton obviously mentioned the drops that I had. Can't happen like that. Can't happen. And especially late in the game like that. I'm sure he's going to remind himself of it, and he's going to make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay. And, the running backs, they got to get better at finding the holes. It's just as simple as that. Now that Marlon Mack's gone, those running backs really have to step up the pace. And the defense, no plays made that day. No plays made at all. I get it. It's fine. They had 4 sacks, but, when your quarterback throws for 95%, you can't really say anything about the coverage. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff that the Colts have to make sure they fix. And obviously with the coaching staff, I don't think Eberflus put them in the best spots to succeed in that game. He's going to have to reevaluate his game plan. And Frank Reich, with being over-aggressive and getting away from the run, I think that he's going to have to fix that too. I'm sure he's going to take a look back at it because I'm sure he hears everything that we're saying, what you guys are saying, everything. I get it. But let's get to the main thing here of Phillip Rivers, okay? All the washed up, terrible, disgrace. Should have went with Cam Newton. Should have went with somebody else. Or we need to tank for Trevor Lawrence. Or he's nowhere near as good as what Brissett was. Brissett would have won us this game. Guys, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He had 2 very bad passes. 2 bad passes all game. He threw for over 70% completion percentage yesterday and threw for 360 yards. Guys, that's not washed up. If that's washed up, Brissett may not play another day in his life. Guys, there were 5 games last season. There were 5 games last season where the Colts threw for over 230 yards passing. 5. Phillip Rivers did it in the first half yesterday. First half. And you're telling me that's a washed-up quarterback? I know you all only care about your touchdowns and your interceptions. I mean, at least the group of people that, that only discuss touchdowns and interceptions because that's all that matters to them. But for everyone else, it matters when you get yards. 360 yards. I don't care if he threw for 46 times. That's still really good. That's still really good. Guys, I understand that Phillip Rivers made some mistakes. He's going to have to clean those up. There's no way that the Colts can continue to let Phillip Rivers only throw for 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. I get it. But again, I said the game planning was flawed. The amount of times that we threw the ball to a running back yesterday, guys, 17 completions from Marlon Mack before he got hurt, Nyheim Hines, and Jonathan Taylor. 17 of Phillip Rivers' 36 completions came from the running backs. I don't mind getting the running backs involved, guys. I don't think that's bad at all. But when half of your passes are going to the running backs, that can't happen. It can't consistently happen. It's perfectly fine to get your running backs involved in the passing game, but part of those passes needed to go to the wide receivers. I mean, not to mention, Paris Campbell was a bright spot yesterday. He was good. He had 6 catches for 70 yards. He was doing well. He played well yesterday. And there were multiple times that I thought Paris Campbell should have gotten more involved. Okay, so again, it is all execution here. There's nothing flawed with this roster. There's nothing wrong with the team. It's just execution. Okay? And some teams executed this week, some did not. Okay? It's not going to be the end of the world. The Colts are going to get to face the Jaguars one more time at the end of the season. Hopefully they'll be better in a better spot then, which I believe they will. And they're going to get to face Tennessee twice still, the Texans twice still, at later in the season too, when they're going to get more organized, they're going to get better ideas of what they need to do. Okay? It's all execution here. It's nothing more than that. So, again, we can be angry. We can be upset about this week. I get it. I'm still kind of upset because obviously we all didn't want the Colts to lose to the Jaguars. I get it. But give Jacksonville their props. They played well. We didn't play as well. And we lost. There are 15 more games to play, guys. 15 more. 15 more chances to win. Will we win against Minnesota in week 2? I don't know. That's up to them. That's how much they're going to have to prepare and get ready to go. But they're going to be at home, ready to play a new week. They can't get any worse than what that was. So you start off on a bad note. You can only look to try and go back up. Okay? Enough with this really bad negativity. It's okay to be angry and express saying, I think we sucked. And you're right in saying that. I think the players would say that they did not play up to their standards at all, and it stunk. But to say Phillip Rivers is washed and that somebody needs to be fired and that we need to reshuffle the whole deck, guys, it's the first game. It's the first game of a very weird, uncircumstantial season. Like, seriously, just relax. Calm down a little bit. It's okay. We're going to move on from this. The Colts are going to win some games. We're going to get better. And guys, remember, the Colts in 2018 started the year 1-5. What did we think of them then? Were we saying the same thing now? Yeah, we were. We're saying, what on earth is wrong with this team? What's wrong with them? And then they turned it on. They figured it out. Give this team a little bit more time to get better executed and let them do their jobs. I think eventually we're going to move on from this, okay? We didn't start off hot, but the team is going to get better. I promise that. I'm going to stay positive, and I'm going to continue to support the Colts regardless of anything. Even if they stunk the next few weeks, I don't care. I'm going to support them because I know they're going to try, they're going to get better, and ultimately I know they're going to prevail. I know they will. This team's going to get better. Thank you all so much for listening to this segment. Let me know what you think. And guys, just be positive, all right? Only can move on from here. Next week and next week only. That's all that matters now. So thank you all so much. And as always, go Colts.